What is going on, New York Giants fans? Back at it here with another NFL Draft Prospect Film Breakdown. And today, I've brought a very special guest on the show. He is the host of the Down the Block Sports podcast. You can find him on Down the Block Sports on YouTube. And I believe, Alec, you've made some other social media accounts as well that I'd love you to plug. But Alec Walt, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. It's always a fun week of the year. We're a couple days away from the NFL draft, so I'm looking forward to joining you. And yes, of course, I'm also on Instagram. You can find me on Down the Block Sports on Instagram as well as on YouTube. So appreciate you having me, and looking forward to talking about a really interesting cornerback prospect in this upcoming draft.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you're checking us out here on Big Blue Avenue, make sure you check out Alec Walt as well. And let's talk about Cam Smith, the cornerback out of South Carolina. I'm very excited to talk about this guy. He measured in at 6'1", 180 pounds, a redshirt junior. Walt, he suffered a concussion this year. We all know the NFL now, they've been taking a lot more precautions with head injuries and whatnot. Do you think this could potentially affect his draft status? And if so, how much?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's something that needs to be of note. These guys are getting looked at by some of the best doctors in the world, and obviously they want to know what they're getting out of every person they select in this upcoming draft. When you see you had a concussion and you want to do the further research on it, that's obviously something that needs to be taken into account. Now, when you look at today's NFL, you're looking at a league where there's teams that go 5 wide. There's formations where you need multiple cornerbacks. He is a solid cover guy in a position of need all across the NFL. So concussion obviously is something that needs to be of note, but due to the need, his talent, and the position, I don't really think it'll be damaging him too much. I think if some team passes on him, there will be a taker not too far after him. I think Cam Smith is an awesome cornerback prospect, but I mean, you said it there, concussion, you don't want 3 of them. You know, when you play multiple years of college football, like you're going to deal with injuries. You can't not draft someone because of injuries. Obviously, you want to make sure that the concussion's not serious, and he hasn't had 3 of them. But as of right now, I'm only a couple of days away from the draft. I don't think it'll kill him too much on Thursday or Friday.
Absolutely. And this season, I know he was getting a lot of praise for the way he played against Jalen Hyatt in that win over Tennessee. He limited Hyatt's yak yardage, which was awesome. Teams stopped targeting him as frequently, it seemed, this year, because in 2021 he was outstanding. He had 11 passes defended, 3 picks, and I have 2 incredible stats about this guy. Not only was he second team All-SEC, he allowed multiple catches in just 2 of 11 games.
Yeah.
Why was that specifically?
Well, I mean, he was just – the thing with Cam Smith is he's 6'1", and he has a plus wingspan. So when you look at, the cornerback position, he's a great athlete, and he has the height and the length to go with it. He's also scrappy. He's not afraid to press you at the line of scrimmage. He's not afraid to make a tackle in the backfield if he's reading a run or a screen play. There are some weaknesses to his game, but at the SEC level, he provided that ability of being that cover cornerback that can match up against SEC level wide receivers from a size perspective. And even though he was a little undersized, he had the ability to make it up with his aggressiveness, being that outside cornerback. And obviously, when you look at the rest of South Carolina's defense, there was a drop-off after him. So from a matchup perspective, they could have gone in a different direction. But you weren't kidding when you said there were only 2 games where, there were, what'd you say it was, had over 2 targets or 2 catches?
2 catches that he allowed.
Only
2 games.
I mean, he was by far the best cornerback on that team. He's someone who had the ability to play man-to-man in that situation on the outside by himself. So South Carolina put a lot of faith in him, and he definitely stepped up in this first year. And offense is new, not to throw to his side of the field.
Absolutely. An older player, too, at 22 years of age, made life difficult for a lot of SEC wideouts, as you were alluding to. Great physicality and ball skills. Very long outside corner, too, and he ran a 4.49 40-yard dash. capable of being a really good corner in this league. Now, I will say he's not the best athlete. He did draw 10 penalty flags this past season, and he seemed to be a liability in run support. Alec, could his injuries, as I mentioned earlier, and more importantly, his penalty issues impact his draft status, specifically as in falling out of the first round?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the depth of the position, there are just so many options as well to take at the cornerback position. So I certainly don't think
Right.
that's something that would help him. But, you know, if you're getting penalties in college, when you go to the next level, you're going to be facing much better wide receivers.
Yeah.
And if you're getting caught at the line of scrimmage, or your feet are planted on the ground, or your hands are in the wrong place, you're going to get absolutely cooked. And that's really my only one major concern when it comes to Cam Smith is, yes, he is undersized. He will add strength when he goes to the NFL level. Obviously, you don't want him covering, you know, that number one cornerback every single play in his rookie season. There is some development that needs to happen at the next level for him, specifically from a strength perspective. But that was his one weakness in college, is there were times where he got caught committing too many penalties. You want guys to be aggressive, but you know, in the NFL, there's times where you look at a pass player, you see a cornerback and receiver go at it, and they're going to call it. We've seen it all the time in the NFL. So, you know, managing being aggressive but not going across the line is something he's going to have to learn. I do think his aggressiveness is something that is going to help him in the draft, because he is a very solid outside cover corner that can play a physical press man. I do think he needs to gain a little bit more weight depending on who he's covering there on the outside. But you like the aggressiveness, but that line needs to be determined, or he's going to get caught a lot, specifically early on in his career.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too from a Giants fan perspective, because watching this guy play opposite of Darius Rush this past season, who also might sneak into day two, by the way. The reason why I wanted to talk about Cam Smith and the cornerback position, I think at 25, there's a chance that one of the top four receivers might not be available. And if I'm the Giants, I would rather not force my card at throwing a dart for a potential number one wide receiver, because that's what the Giants are missing, right? A number one wideout.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go ahead and let's say if Cam Smith or Deontay Banks is on the board, it could definitely be more value where the Giants are picking at 25. And I know everyone and their mother's going to look back at this and they're like, Tom, we have to draft receiver in the first round. What the hell are you talking about? But I think it's important to go over all these prospects. They brought them in for a top 30 visit for a reason. I think he fits our defensive scheme and what Wink Martindale is trying to accomplish. But Walt, anything you wanted to add before we dove into this film breakdown here on Mr. Smith?
I mean, you talk about the Giants and you talk about the type of defenses that I think he would benefit from joining. He needs to play in a physical style of defense. He needs to play in a man-to-man style defense. I think Wink would work well with him. I mean, I don't think he is exactly a Marcus Peters. I think Peters is significantly bigger than him. Cam's only 180. But you saw a player like that, a physical outside cornerback, have success in Wink's defense when he was the number 2 cornerback when he was on the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, they did have another outside guy. You guys have Adoree Jackson, so it's not like he's going to be the number 1 guy in every single possession here for the Giants next year. But I think with Wink allowing him to play physical in that style of defense, and you seeing him have that success with other players who like to be scrappy, I do think there is some translation here if the Giants were to go Cam Smith at the end of the first round.
And with Adoree's entering a contract year, so they'll have to decide if they want to extend him or not. Aaron Robinson coming off some serious injury last season he suffered. Darnay Holmes, contract year. Cordell Flott, they really like him. So I think it's a position that could definitely use some depth and, but let's get into this film breakdown, Alec, and let's talk about Cam Smith and some of these plays that he had. The first one, I'll get my screen up here. I'm a big film buff, just a little heads up. All right. So this first play here, it's an interception against Vanderbilt. We know Vanderbilt, not a very good college football program as of late. But walk us through this play here. I mean, this is just remarkable defense by Cam Smith.
So Cam Smith's at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see him right there catch the interception. So the thing with this play here is Cam Smith is on the outside here. It's 3 receivers on the top, 1 receiver at the bottom. He's recovering that 1 receiver there. They do the play action here, and the QB's just staring at the receiver. Like his first read was the receiver covering that Cam Smith was covering. And when Cam saw that that's where he was going to pass, he stepped right into the passing lane and caught the interception well before the wide receiver. I mean, his play recognition is awesome. I do think he got bailed out from the fact that the quarterback didn't look in any other direction here on this play. That's something that's going to be of note when he goes to the NFL. But, he saw the ability to catch an interception. He used his quickness to his advantage, stepped right into the passing lane on the first read, and had a clear route there to the interception well before the receiver could even catch him. So that's a good play there by Cam Smith. I mean, his play recognition is real. He noticed interception, read interception, immediately reacted to the ability to catch that ball and was able to do so. So, he was the guy there on the outside. He did have some safety coverage there on the top, which allowed him to play a little more physical there on the line of scrimmage. But he knew he was getting that catch, and there was no doubt he was getting that interception.
Yeah, the physicality with him is something that he displayed on that play, and just knowing where the ball was going to be. You said it best. And here, next up, we have a good tackle for loss against Eastern Illinois, where he pretty much just eats this play up. I mean, we'll get into it here. Boom. That's an excellent hit, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was there on the top of the screen there. He's that cover cornerback right on the top, right by the line of scrimmage. I mean, he looked at the receiver that was almost trying to block him at the line of scrimmage, so he knew a run or a screen was possibly coming in his direction. He recognized run, was able to break from the wide receiver, and dove right at his ankles, where if you make that tackle correctly, he's going to drop almost immediately. So, he had good, it's not the best form tackle here. I think he just was able to hit the right spot. I do think he's going to need to make a better tackle at the NFL level. But, if you're the quarterback, you want to make sure that guys don't get to the outside. You want to make sure no one gets outside you towards the sideline. He's able to make that tackle, a play that he's going to have to make being undersized at the next level. And if he's able to make those plays and be in those one-on-one situations, break the receiver, blocking him, and make that tackle, he's going to be on the field for a lot of snaps at the next level. You like that tackling upside. He just needs to gain some weight. He has the aggressiveness. He has the play recognition, but he will be a little undersized, being only 180, making those plays at the next level. But he's gritty. I'm telling you, this guy can play.
Yeah, you just analyzing him makes me very, very excited. But here on this next play, we have a pick against Missouri. And we'll take a look here. I think he's at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, he was covering the receiver there on the outside. And what I'm very confused about with this play is I almost feel like I need to break it down from whatever the hell the QB is doing, because normally you see this type of play on the goal line when you trust your receiver one-on-one just to score a touchdown. But here, he's throwing it 51 yards away from the end zone. And normally in this situation, you see a bullet screen or a pass that's much quicker. He lobbed the ball basically on the line of scrimmage. And here's what I'll say about this play. One, again, it was the QB's first read, right towards the direction of Cam Smith. Two, he noticed interception and stepped right in front of the receiver. When he reads the ability to intercept a pass, he's not afraid to get in front of the guy going for the football or the receiver. And then three, this was just a terrible throw. I mean, I don't know what the hell that play was here for Missouri. I don't even think it was supposed to be what the play was. Maybe they wanted to throw a screen and the receiver just ran the wrong way. I couldn't tell you. This was a play that went absolutely nowhere, but he saw the ability to make an interception. Again, it's another interception he made where he read the play knowing where the ball was going to go. There was 3-4 feet away from him and the receiver when he made this catch. So the play recognition is real, and he was able to benefit from a pretty terrible possession here for Missouri.
And it's not like there was much of a pass rush either. I feel like
no,
if there's
wasn't.
And you never want to throw the ball in the flat like that, especially. You're right. He kind of just lobs it almost off his back foot there, which is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And a good corner like him will take advantage
And
of
Cam
that.
can
For sure.
jump low key. I didn't really mention that before. He didn't get up too high. He can definitely jump a little bit higher. But you like when those one-on-one plays when he's going up against a bigger wide receiver that he has the ability to fight back in those plays. I know you didn't get the full example in that highlight, but he jumped in front of the receiver, and his leaping ability is absolutely no joke. Being 6'1".
Well, we'll kind of get it on this next play. Maybe not vertical wise, but he did make a nice
Yeah,
diving
no, you're right.
interception here. We'll take a look. I mean, there it is.
So another thing here is, again, first look at the quarterback. The second he gets the snap, and he's looking right at the guy covering, or that he's covering. He's throwing it to his first read. Reads the ability to get the interception. He also threw it to the front shoulder instead of the shoulder closer to the sidelines. On that play, you want to throw it to the outside so he can turn and go towards the direction of the sidelines to try and get the first down. You look at this throw, he throws it to the inside shoulder. It's not a great throw. And the thing with Cam is if that wasn't thrown on the inside, he wouldn't have been able to catch this pass. He would have probably had to deflect it. It almost ran right into where his arms were, and the receiver was running away from the direction of the pass. So instead of being able to kind of redirect himself, he didn't have that ability to do so. Cam cut off the passing lane, immediately caught the interception that was on the inside when it should have been thrown to the outside. And this shows a lot of athletic ability here. He has the ability to cut in front of receivers. In the NFL, if this was the NFL, 9 times out of 10 that would have been deflected. So when you like the ability to be in those situations, defend a pass, be aggressive on the line of scrimmage, prevent the ball from getting to the receiver, because if he doesn't make this play, that receiver's gone. So if he's going to be able to recognize that play, make the play, react to it quickly, and get in front of the football, you like that upside in the NFL. He was just able to make this interception because the ball was thrown in the wrong place.
Yeah, and he's also throwing it towards the slight pressure here coming off the right side. So
yeah, this play was designed to go to that receiver. It's a questionable play there, but he was able to make it happen and give it to the Gamecocks' advantage.
Every time you get a question like this, can he make an impact on special teams, right? Because a lot of times, again, maybe not rookies in the first round, even though you would still like first-round rookies to make an impact on specials at the next level. This gets overlooked a lot. You know, special teams is a very important phase of the game that does not get talked about enough. And this is a nice blocked field goal you'll see here against the Florida Gators. He's lined up here off the edge. And, I mean, his speed is displayed here and his athletic ability, again, he kind of just lunges out, as you can see.
I almost thought he was offsides when I was watching this live. He got such a good jump and beat him so badly that it looked like he was 3 steps ahead of him.
Yeah.
Like that guy on the outside trying to block him, like almost was hoping that the kick was past him. It was kind of lazy, but, you know, you mentioned it's special teams. You want to be able to make this impact. Also, you know, if he has that quick of a first step, you could send him on a corner blitz. And that extension, that's a cornerback.
Yeah. No, it's just great. It's really good length, too. I mean, if he has maybe 2 to 3 inch shorter arms, he probably doesn't make that block.
Yeah, no.
Well, we do have one more play here. This is a good tackle he made against Tennessee. I mean, the Tennessee game was absolutely atrocious. I'm trying to think, is this the one from this year or last year?
This is this year. They won.
Right. They didn't just win. They blew them out.
Yeah, that's Hooker.
Yeah.
The quarterback.
And there's the last play.
And this was a play where, I mean, he was a little further off the – which one? There he is right there. He was – I don't think he was on the outside on this play now that I look at it from that angle. But yeah, no, he wasn't on the outside on that play. So he read read. He got no block. The receiver didn't block him at all. Didn't even provide any pressure. I don't think the receiver knew the pass was going to the running back, but it was a play that Hooker was looking to the other side, defaulted to the running back, and threw an extremely lazy pass to him. When he realized that the pass was going, or that the play was going to be to the running back behind the line of scrimmage, he burst right past him. That's him running towards the first down marker right there, and he makes a great tackle there in the backfield. You like that aggressiveness from a corner. You like a guy that's going to be not afraid to make big tackles in the backfield, prevent the receiver or running back from getting to the outside, diving towards his ankles and forcing him to the ground. There's two teammates there if he needed help, if he wasn't able to make the tackle. But he dove at his ankles again, kind of similar, a little bit higher actually than the tackle we saw on the original play, but he read that the pass was going to someone else that wasn't the receiver he was covering. The receiver made no effort to even block him and was able to get to him before the line of scrimmage to make the play about a yard or so behind it. So it's a good scrappy play. I mean, you got to respect how Cam Smith's able to make a play like this to someone who weighs more than him, but was able to make it happen before he was able to get anywhere towards the goal line. So another aggressive tackle by a small dude who, you want to make sure your cornerbacks can get that. You want to make sure tackling, one-on-one tackling is something that's not an issue because they get burned to the outside. That's easy yards, and that's going to drive any defense coordinator crazy.
So what are you thinking? What's the verdict on him? Late first? Does he possibly slip early second? I mean, he does play a premium position.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at the cornerback class this year, there's about 6 or 7 that I could see going within the first 40 picks. I mean, the cornerback position this year is extremely deep. There's a lot of options to choose from, the type of defense you want to play, but there's no doubt that Cam Smith can be a really solid cornerback in this league. I mean, when I look at around 20, and I look between 20 and 40, for example, I could see Minnesota, the Giants, the Bills, the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Colts, the Rams. Those are 5 teams in a row to start the second round. Yeah. The Raiders. Tennessee's 41, which I don't think he goes that far. But could I see him dropping? Yes, because there's a lot of corners to choose from. Mm-hmm. But if he drops into round 2, he's not going past the first 5 picks.
Walt, I want to thank you so much for hopping on today. This was a lot of fun breaking down Cam Smith of the South Carolina Gamecocks. I wish him the best heading into the NFL draft. And before I let you go, I want to let you plug yourself one more time where people can find you and your excellent content. I'm a big fan of yours, so shoot away, Alec.
So you can find me on YouTube. My channel is called Down the Block Sports. I do live reactions to videos. I need to pick up the pace a little bit on my end. I will say that, but you can find me on YouTube, Down the Block Sports, Instagram as well, Down the Block Sports. It's where you can find me. I'm a big Boston sports fan. I know that kind of contradicts the team there in the center of this screen. I do like the direction the Giants are going. I will not lie. I think you guys are going to have a much more exciting year than the team that I am unfortunately rooting for. But hey, you go through your ups and downs. We had a good, 2 decades or so. So you got to deal with the rebuild, and that's unfortunately what I'm stuck in right now. But I will provide some NFL content for the majority of this season. Again, Down the Block Sports, YouTube, and Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Go follow Alec at Down the Block Sports. And a quick reminder, this episode was presented by our sponsor, BetUS. If you like the sports bet, you can sign up at our promo code below at Join125. Get a 125% sign-up bonus where you can bet on the go, anywhere, anytime. That's BetUS, America's #1 favorite sports book where the game begins. I know Walt has some better Boston teams in the playoffs right now that
the 2 that are showing.
That's right. It is draft season, busiest week of the year for content creators like Walt and myself. But thank you all for watching. And without further ado, let's go Big Blue.